I tell you, one of the coolest perks to being a voice actor is getting to travel the country or sometimes the world to go to these conventions and meet the fans face to face. That's a huge thing for me, is getting that one-on-one interaction. It's one thing to talk to them online and email, Facebook, Twitter, all that, but it's different when you actually get to see them in person and they, you know, bless their hearts, they'll stand in line for hours. They're paying hard-earned money to come here for the weekend and cosplay or hang out with their other friends and not be judged, because, you know, life can be hard when you're an anime fan. There's a lot of bullies and everything that give them a hard time, but this is a great community where we can come together and not be judged. It doesn't matter what gender or orientation or anything, and people just come here and totally celebrate this awesome art form. And I'm very blessed to be a part of the industry, and I love getting to just hang with the fans as well. I think anime is going through, it's trying to find its footing in the internet age. Actually, all media, the way we consume media, the way we produce media, the way it's distributed, it's all based on this new on-demand model that probably wasn't really anticipated as little as maybe 5 years ago. It's like, where's the industry headed? We've seen dips in DVD sales. We've seen companies go under or have to severely restructure because the fans, you know, they want it and they don't want to have to wait, and sometimes they don't want to pay for it and they'll watch fan subs, and that severely hurts the industry. It's not that they're trying to do it maliciously, but when there's money not going back into the system, it's really hard to sustain itself. So I think it's going to be fine. I don't think it'll ever go away, but I think Japan, and of course in cooperation with some business partners in the US, are going to have to rethink how they're going to distribute things, you know, with streaming ads and get it on iPhones, iPads, tablets, PCs, everybody's mobile phones. People want their content on the go. And then of course they got to make their money back. So with streaming ads or whatnot, you know, you got to find just the right balance of trying to make it a sustainable business model. It's an art form that we all love, but at the end of the day, it's business. So we got to make sure that money goes back into the system. So hopefully the fans will continue to support it by going to these conventions. The convention scene has boomed in the past few years. Even though DVD sales go down, there's more and more conventions popping up around the world. Some are brand new, some are branched off from other cons. It's great to see, but as long as fans go into the dealer room of their respective convention and pick up a DVD for as little as $5, or they're buying official merchandise like an official wall scroll, avoiding the bootleg stuff. Remember to report to your convention if you see a dealer selling bootleg stuff, because bootlegs are bad, obviously. That means no money going in the system. So just support whatever you love, manga, anime, whatever it is. Make sure that you have some money going back in so we can keep it going. I always like to just put myself in the zone when I'm committed, when I'm in the booth, to give the director what they're looking for. And it's kind of a weird bubble. We come to the conventions and we meet the fans and we get the feedback. When we're recording, we don't see the whole show. We see the parts that we're recording into English. So it's a really interesting challenge. We're not seeing it in its full context. We're told bullet points. It's like, your character's doing this at this episode, and go. It's kind of like an assembly line. And we record the lines, and then we're done, and then a few months later it comes out on DVD, or it's on Cartoon Network, and then the fans hear about it, or maybe up to a year later, and we're like, we've moved on to products, and we're going, wait a minute, I'm on that?
Yeah.
It's kind of a wild thing, but I absolutely always commit myself, because I've always been passionate about voice acting. It's something I've wanted to do since I was a kid. Now I'm living a dream, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Haven't done on stage, but on camera I'm intrigued about. I'd try more of that, but I'm a little bit spoiled because in voiceover, your script's always in front of you. You don't have to memorize it. And when you're on camera, it's all based on a look, you know? So, but strip that away in voiceover, doesn't matter how old you are, thin, fat, skinny, bald, you know, whatever. It's what you bring to the mic in your performance with your voice. Can you build that performance and sustain it? You know, so that's always intrigued me. But yeah, I'd love to dabble in more on-camera stuff, especially now as people are developing their own content on YouTube and webisode stuff and all that. I'd love to take things to the next level, sure. Staying power of Bleach obviously goes into the characters, you know, characters that are relatable. A good storyline that can hook you and keep you hooked. I mean, obviously it's a huge franchise in Japan and in the States. It continues to be a real rating smash on Adult Swim and on Cartoon Network. And you know, every con I go to, I'm seeing someone cosplaying Bleach, and I have for many years. And I don't see that ever changing. It's fantastic. Again, I'm so lucky that I get to be a part of that show. Because, you know, your lead villain, Aizen, he's not your typical over-the-top, maniacal. He's very cold and calculating and manipulative and, dare I say, seductive and kind of mysterious and friendly. And that is a ton of fun to play. Any actor will tell you that any character polar opposite of you as a personality is going to be a challenge. You know, it's like, but that's a fun challenge. That's something I welcome. I love playing the villain, especially on Bleach. So I'm glad that Bleach has really stuck out there. And I think that, you know, the ladies are attracted to him because he's all hunky. So the female following on shows that are like this, even DBZ and other things like that. The shows that strike you as, oh, it's action oriented, it's all for dudes, it's all testosterone, it's a sausage fest. But no, the female following are really, really strong on all these shows because all the pretty boys, that keeps them coming back. I've been around the world, and it's like England or Australia and New Zealand. They seem to be just as passionate as they do in the States. First time I went to Australia back in 2002, I felt like I was one of the Beatles. I walked in and people were like screaming and like, oh my gosh, because they were just craving having an event like, it was a pop culture event, so not just anime, but video games, sci-fi, action, all that stuff, all in one event. And it happens once or twice a year, so these kids would come out in droves, and it was so amazing to see, and so very, very flattering, very touching. Well, you know, you're only as old as you think you are, or as you act. You know, I'm 43 this month, but I think I'm stunted at about 15 because I still play video games. I started with the Atari in the late 70s, and now I'm rocking a Vita, a 3DS, my iPhone, Xbox, PS3. I love it all. I love gaming. It speaks to all audiences, quite honestly. Just like the days, you know, Pixar. Pixar movies are huge with Disney and everything, but that speaks to everybody because the stories and the characters, it's not watered down little storybook time for 5-year-olds. It's something that can be written and appreciated from an adult perspective as well.
Thank you.
Sure. Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for hanging out too. Glad we were able to touch base and get this done.